Be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Psalm 73, verse 26. What does it say? It says, my flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. And we see this in the account of David. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God, the Lord, is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. And when we read Isaiah 41:10, what does God tell us? What does he promise us? He tells us, so do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, and I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. I will strengthen you, and I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. This is what God is saying in his word. And even though he's saying it in the book of Isaiah, we can apply this because we can trust in the character and the faithfulness of God to us. Do not fear. Why? Because I am with you. God is with us. Don't be dismayed. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. He is our God. He is a personal God. He's not just in heaven somewhere. He is with us. He is close to us. I am your God. And because I am your God, I'm going to give you the strength. I'm going to give you the assistance. I'm going to make sure you stand firm with what? With his right hand. And if God says it, we need to believe it. What the children of Israel did wrong is that they chose not to believe in the faithfulness of God. What are these verses saying to us effectively? They're saying to us, first of all, that nothing is too hard for God. Nothing is too hard for God. In fact, God himself says it. He's the creator of the heavens and of the earth. Is there anything too hard for me? But what happens is that we don't recall the faithfulness of God in the past. And when we're in a particular challenge or situation that faces us, we become overwhelmed. And we assume for some reason that God somehow cannot deal with this situation. That God somehow does not have the power or the ability to take us through the situation. That even though he's helped us in the past, that somehow this particular situation is too much for God to handle. And there's a saying that goes that what God cannot do does not yet exist. He is the God of all mankind. He's the creator of the heavens and of the earth. He says it. Is anything too hard for him? These verses are telling us that no matter the giant that we face, the first place that we have to go to for strength, for direction, for wisdom is God. No matter what we face, the first place we go to before anywhere else for strength, for direction, for wisdom is the Lord. And thirdly, that we can stand upon the promises of God to strengthen us, to uphold us, and to help us. We see Caleb had a different spirit. And because he had a different spirit, the Lord rewarded Caleb by allowing him to see the promised land. We see David also had a different spirit. He didn't see Goliath the giant. His focus was on God. The size of God, the goodness of God, the power of God, the faithfulness of God. And the more he focused upon that, the smaller and smaller and smaller Goliath became. Well, we see the story of the children of Israel and the Israelite army is different. The children of Israel were afraid of the inhabitants of the land. They took their focus off God and focused on the giants. And as long as it is the giants that we focus on, we are turning our backs to God at that moment. We saw that the Israelite army were terrified of Goliath. And because of that, they could not face the Philistine army. But God used a boy. He used a small boy, a little boy, to show them that those who know their God will be strong and will carry out great exploits, as the Bible tells us. What Caleb did and what David did, the faith that they have in God to be able to achieve what they achieved and to persevere, is not possible unless they had a relationship with God. We cannot have the faith we need in the midst of crisis unless we first have a relationship with God through Jesus. It is impossible. It is impossible. Young David knew God. He understood the character of God. He understood the God that he served. He had a relationship with God, and that was the reason why he could be so bold and be so courageous. And the Bible tells us in Daniel, in the book of Daniel, the Bible tells us, it says to us that those who know their God, those who know their God will what? They will be strong and we carry out great exploits. Knowing there signifies relationship. When we come to understand the nature of God, the character of God, the faithfulness of God, when we play back how faithful God has been to us in the past, it allows us to be strong in the midst of whatever we're going through. It allows us to keep our faith in the midst of what we're going through. But if we don't know God as we should, if we don't play back his faithfulness as we should, if we take our focus off him and keep our focus on the challenges or the crisis, all we are filled with is nothing but fear, anxiety, and not faith. And when we are filled with fear and anxiety, it leads to doubt. And doubt grieves the heart of God. We see that